this video, we will discuss about a devastating attack which has been performed using the MIRAI malware, a mirage, and I will describe you about the attack, how it was possible to perform the attack, and the attack to the DYN, which took down the internet. Later on, R.M.A will describe you about the analysis of the attack, why we should pay more attention for these kind of attacks, and how to mitigate them. This attack took place on 21st October 2016. Nearly 85 major sites including PayPal, Twitter, Netflix, Spotify will become inaccessible. As it turned out, the underlying problem was a series of DDoS attacks. Now let's see how this attack was possible. The attackers only performed 3 attacks to take down the internet. As I mentioned, this was a series of DDoS attacks. The first attack affected the East Coast. The second one affected the users in California and the Midwest as well as the Europe, including, luckily, the third attack was mitigated. The attack floods the servers which run the services with enormous amount of requests and took down the DNS servers of DYN. The DNS, the domain name system, is a system which maps the URL to the IP addresses. This works as an address book. So once the DNS is down, the browser is no longer be able to know how to load the pages. So the attackers used the malware, created a large botnet, and performed the DDoS attack. Using that botnet, usually people do not change their gadgets' default settings. So these devices become vulnerable to these kind of attacks. A group of hackers created a large botnet using the MIRAI malware and used it to break down the DYN. DYN is a Internet Performance Management and Web Application Security company. This botnet included tens of millions of devices. The DYN site was flooded with 1.2 terabytes of requests per second, and the estimated damage is about $110 million. However, the criminals responsible did not ask for ransom or any other demands. Later on, the hacker groups, New World Hackers and Red Cult, has claimed responsibility for the attack. Now R.M.A will describe more about the MIRAI malware.
I'm R.M.A and I will describe about the analysis of the attack, why we should be attention these kind of attack and how to mitigate them. The majority of the attack can be identified as DDoS attack. DDoS is a very popular type of attack, and using smart devices in such attack is appealing for criminals. As we were already mentioned, the Internet of Things is buggy and vulnerable. That is not likely to change in any time soon. Developers and smart gadgets do little to secure their devices and don't explain to users that they should change the password on cameras, routers, printers, and other devices. In fact, not all of them even allow users to do so. That makes IoT devices perfect target. When considering these scenarios, we can identify that the attackers were able to exploit a vulnerability of IoT devices using the MIRAI malware. The user would not even notice that his or her smartphone, smart TV, or whatever the IoT device he or she uses have been compromised with the malware, because the device would work as normal as usual, but it will send requests to the target website or service on behalf of the attacker even without user consent. Once a MIRAI malware has been used, the attacker releases the source code of it to public. A major attack has been taken place on September 2016, targeting the blog of IT security journalist Brian Krebs. The page was inaccessible for a long period until the Google intervened to protect it. That small piece of code was able to take over the whole security block. Right after this attack, an attacker called Innocent Pi published the MIRAI source code on an underground forum. Criminals of all stripes grabbed it at once. Since then, the number of MIRAI bots can increase constantly. The dying attack occurred after less than a month. Even this attack did not affect you directly, that does not mean you was not a part of the attack. What if the smartphone you used has been compromised with the MIRAI even without you knowing that? Hack gadgets serve two masters at the same time. For the owners, they work as usual, but they also attack websites at a criminal command. Millions of such devices took down dying. This botnet was created with the help of MIRAI malware. The malware's action is rather simple. It scans for IoT devices and tries a password on whatever it finds. Usually people do not change their gadget, default settings and password, so the devices are easy to hack. One person cannot stop botnet from crashing the internet, but together we can do a lot by securing our devices and not begin a part of the botnet. You can start with making your devices more secure so that MIRAI and similar malware can't take control of them. If everyone did that, botnet armies would shrink into insignificance. These are the simplest precautions that you can take to prevent this kind of attack. Make sure you don't leave default password on your devices. Use reliable combinations that cannot be brute forced easily. Update firmware for all of your gadgets. Thank you.